everybody, this is Rydo and we're back with another recording of Hearthstone. We started late today, this July the 11th, Wednesday, and so it's 8:28 right now. I need to get at least one of these done, and then I actually probably need to play the European account off screen to get a challenge a friend done, and then I'll be done. But also I need to get this tavern brawl done, so warrior, hunter, and mage. We tried a hunter last time, I'll try a mage this time. Trying to get all the news done, there's still plenty of that. Gamma Sutra has a job listing, Visual Concepts is hiring for software engineers. That's in Budapest, Hungary. So we'll just cover that quickly.
Let the hunt begin.
Let's see, we have an early access game on Steam called Crescent Hollow. It does not look good. Early access action strategy RPG. We haven't seen the RPG Maker games today. This might be an RPG Maker game that I'm looking at right now, but the graphics look a little bit better than that, so maybe it's the new RPG Maker. The newer version of it, where the graphics don't always look exactly the same. But yeah, it looks like an RPG Maker game, and that's good enough for me to ignore. This Crescent Hollow is $14.99 with no discount. See, the next game we have is a quiz game called Perfect Pitch Ear Training. It looks like an awful cheap experiment of a program, not an actual game. It's something that a first year college programming student could have made and would have turned in as a project, and they want $4.99 for it. It's not even got a full black background, so there's this annoyingly bright white background bordering the image. Like, Perfect Pitch Ear Training, worst game I've seen today so far. And it's from who I could only assume is a very low effort troll game developer. Still no real stories of troll developers getting kicked off Steam though. Also, in a weird way, even though we found one game that straight up put like hardcore pornography in their trailer as the first scene, there's been no stories of Steam even really kicking that developer off. Which inherently I think there probably should be stricter regulations on what is shown in the trailer video versus what can be in the game. Like, once it's behind that paywall, once you've verified that the person has a credit card and then theoretically is an adult, assuming they're not using their parents' credit card, at that point, once you own the game, showing the hardcore pornography is fine, but just having it on the trailer where somebody could accidentally wander into your game, the only thing is that it's age gated, which that doesn't really mean anything, because the age gate is so common on Steam that everybody just goes through it. Next game we have is one called Hollow Lab Champions. This looks like a VR game to me. Yeah, it says it's a virtual reality chemistry game show. Doing chemistry experiments in VR is an interesting idea for education, certainly. It protects you from dangerous mistakes and toxic fumes and stuff. But I think at a certain point you have to let the kids get their hands dirty.
I don't have enough mana.
I could see doing VR chemistry in a high school, junior high level, and then once you get into college saying, alright, now you're really gonna do it, or doing some of it in virtual reality. That would it'd probably be cheaper too for a high school to have a VR lab that sometimes does chemistry classes in it, versus having a chemistry lab that requires constant maintenance in other elements. HoloLab Champions is 20% off for $7.99. It has 16 achievements. I don't know how much gameplay is actually in this though. It's from the creator of I Expect You to Die, which is you play as a secret agent. I think that too requires virtual reality headsets, darn it. Well, I Expect You to Die is very positively reviewed. So if you have VR, this developer has some pedigree behind him, and I think that this is one you might want to check out. Most of the games that this developer has are rated positively. Deal damage to all minions.
Elune, guide my lance. Time runs out on me.
Turn. Eurogamer has an article. Gravity Rush 2 fans plead for Sony to stop the server shutdown. Sadly, Gravity Rush fans have been treated horribly. If you liked the first game, it was, I believe, on the Vita. It never really came to the PlayStation, or maybe it was on the PlayStation 3 and it never came to the PS4. I kind of wanted Gravity Rush 1 and 2 to come to PC. I don't think Gravity Rush 2 did come to PC. And now fans who are still playing the game are going to suffer because the servers are shut down. I think you'll still be able to play the game, but challenges, photos, because Gravity Rush had this standard Eastern photo mode where you could take pictures of the main character, which is, she's an appealing looking character enough to justify that. But any photos you take, I think, now disappear, and any rewards and other things seem like they're going to disappear too. Gravity Rush is just not getting the support that it deserves. I feel like if Gravity Rush had been released on the Nintendo consoles, it would be a lot bigger. It would be just under Nier Automata level popularity. Also, if Microsoft had picked it up and put it out there, that would have been a nice little coup. Maybe it would have hurt Gravity Rush's sales, but if it had been multi-platform, that probably would have worked rather well. That certainly is something that people like that game. I believe the character in Gravity Rush is named Cat, which is ironic considering the next game we have on Steam is called Kittened, which is a VR game with kittens that play with you. And I was just saying earlier today while streaming that a virtual reality pet that looked like a cat or a dog or a horse, you know, bunny, something like that, would be very, very appealing to a lot of people. Gonna have to do this anyway, so let's end it there. And so that's what we've got here, is a VR game with several different colored kittens that you can pet. They seem to be able to start fires. Seems like they can do generally mischievous things like a cat would. Let's see. start fires, as in they accidentally set off an oven range. Buy Kitten is 15% off for $12.74. There's at least 4 different types of kittens. It actually says 7 super cute kitten breeds with unique characteristics, 4 in early access. Rewarding, fast-paced, family-friendly gameplay. Easy to master 2-button controls. See the kitten eat, play, and destroy your home in stunning VR. Or just hang out with a lot of kittens in sandbox mode.
I wonder.
I think this is a great idea. A lot of people in apartments that can't have pets. This works well. Probably, in all fairness, this won't be the one. There will be some other developer that makes a kitten game that's a little bit more polished and better looking. But if you don't want to wait for that to happen, which could take years, this is there. Or it's early access at least. 15% off for $12.74. Let's see if the developers got something else. Well, the other game that they made was a game called Mortal Online that has mixed reviews. Well, kittens. Looks better than that. Gematsu has an article. Star Ocean Amnesia is now available in the West. The Star Ocean smartphone game has launched in English. So take that for whatever it was. It's at the iOS and Google Play app stores. Let's see, what kind of game is it? It's real-time 3D combat, build your own squads through multiplayer battles. Star Ocean Online being a very popular Dreamcast game when it came out. I guess this is the mobile-fied version of something like that. I'm looking at a lot of gameplay happening in portrait mode. And because it's in portrait mode, you're getting the left and right sections cut off. And it seems like they just fight in general automatically. It seems like maybe you can even have the
I told ya so.
It seems like you can have like multiple phones next to each other and it will all animate the same scene, which that would be an interesting thing, but that's probably not actually how it goes. Don't really care about mobile games though, so let's move on. Let's see. We have a game on Steam called Hero U Rogue to Redemption. It's a role-playing adventure game. From the creators of the Quest for Glory series. So there's some pedigree here. This is tagged as a Choices Matter story-rich character customization game. It's in widescreen. It looks like it's an adventure type game. Adventure, puzzle, point and click. But with some pedigree behind it that elevates this to from a game that I might go maybe to I probably should have this on my list.
Join the guild. We have cookies.
It makes sense to just have as many people on the field as possible.
I told ya so. Pray.
There we go. It's not a point-click adventure game. It's an adventure with some hack and slash things. To be fair, Hero U does look kind of old and kind of bad. I'm not gonna ignore that or not mention it. It does look like a rather old game, but I think there's reason to at least keep it in my list. I may go back and find out that the game that they name checked, let's see, after 2 successful Kickstarter campaigns and over 5 years in development, we're happy to present you with this game. See, I need to play a bunch of odd cards, so we'll just... I think if I just play Murloc, I'll be fine. I just play that Murloc deck all the time. So the creators of Quest for Glory, Shannara, Castle of Dr. Brain, and Mixed Up Fairy Tales. Those are all really old games, but they're also very known games. And, let's see. This is the first game from their development, Trinzalore Games, which they named it after the home planet of the Doctor and Doctor Who. Yeah, with that kind of pedigree behind it, and the fact that it's a successfully Kickstarter game, it would be wrong to not at least keep an eye on Hero U, even if I'm not super motivated in actually even playing the game, which I kind of am motivated to play the game. Moving on, we have a game called Core Awaken the Yuka, a 2D side-scrolling action game with 3D CG. The protagonist Yuka is a robot fighting for the human side against the robotic rebellion. This is a bunch of anime characters, certainly, and a side-scrolling fighting game. It doesn't look great. I wanted to see what languages this was in. This is English, Japanese, and traditional Chinese, and it's $6.99. In a weird way, this looks like what they've done is taken a very generic, not even half-finished platformer brawler game, and they've slapped a bunch of anime characters on top of it to sell. Because looking at the actual gameplay, it doesn't look good. Even if the controls are super tight, it still doesn't look good. I half wonder if maybe they've converted what was supposed to be a cell phone game into a PC game, because I could imagine if they just had those animations and the swinging and fighting animations, which actually look a little bit better, the game might work and look more polished, because there's this fighting animation in the top right that's showing. All the anime girls are rather youngly drawn, which young / short is always a argument you can make there. Robots, whatever. We don't even have to get in that argument. The main thing is this game doesn't look good, and it's not worth $6.99. So ignore that. We've got another Trials-esque game, it looks like, except for this one is a flat 2D game. Looks a lot more like an NES game. It's called Bike Dash Excite. So it's supposedly supposed to be an Excite Bike clone. Let's see. Just take it. Thing about Excitebike is that you were going backwards and forwards a lot, trying to get over hills and line up jumps, and that's exactly what I'm seeing in this game. And this game doesn't look like it's added anything or improved anything. The game is free. Apparently it was created with the Pixel Game Maker NV, available summer 2018, so this is how it was made with that, I don't know. But this is this is an interesting new tag to start seeing on games. Is if games start saying, yeah, we actually made it with this RPG Maker game, then I can just say, yeah, I'm not interested. Go away. You've told me the one thing I needed to know to prove to me I wasn't interested. Remember, I'm just trying to play odd cards right now. So, victories would be nice, but not necessary. The developer of this game, interestingly, is also the developer of Pixel Maker MV and Yumi Nikki Dream Diary. So, this corporation, the Kadakawa Corporation is what it's labeled as, must be a lot bigger than I think, or they're going in some very odd directions there. And this is they released a new Yumi Nikki game, not the original, which I believe is free. And the new one has mixed reviews at best.
What to do?
Let's see. This, and next we have Shining Resonance Refrain, a very positive rated game with 56 users already, and it came out July 9th. Now the reason why it has so many users and it's rated very positively is because the Shining Resonance JRPG series is known, and the only real problem with a game like this is so many of the PC versions for JRPGs have been really bad. But that seems like that's not the case here. We have a fast-paced action JRPG where I'm watching groups of 4 people fight, and apparently they also have the ability to form a band and play music, which maybe that's part of the gameplay mechanic, or maybe that's just a side thing you can do. There seems to be like a hit combo meter you get as you're attacking to allow you to do faster attacks. Like, all the cutscene, all the trailers that I've been watching looks extremely polished, extremely pretty. The only thing I could complain about is it seems like you will be just fighting a lot of dragons, which you really can't complain about that, can you? Let's see, third-party Denuvo, anti-tamper, third-party EULA in it. It says it has full audio English and full audio Japanese. OpenCritic says it has a 772 fair, but it has the third-party Denuvo in it. So Shining Resonance Refrain is full price at $49.99, but this is a big one. It's maybe not known right now. Let's see, 300 people are playing it right now. Definitely one I have to wish list and keep an eye on. And see, that's like a big game, and it only has 47 achievements, so when you see games that are 69 cents and they have 100 achievements, you know they're just pushing it. Okay. I need something that would do something for me.
Job's done.
That's about all I can do. That's about all I need to do, though. Yep. Shining Resonance Refrain is also being released and developed by Sega. So, that's interesting. Let's move on. Let's see, how are we gonna do this? Play this. We play this. We play this. We go for this. And we do this. And then we end the turn. That's good. Gamasutra has a article, the ESA, that's the Software Alliance, right? No, that would be the ESRB. Yeah, the ESA is the what is that? World lobbying group that owns the ESRB and runs it. So they have the title here is ESA : or I guess this would be quote, but it's not. There's no quotation marks. Strong wages and opportunities keep unionization from being a significant issue. Strong wages, yes. Opportunities, I don't know. It comes down to how do you define an opportunity. If you know you're very likely to be laid off after 4 years working somewhere, that's not an opportunity for a lifetime of employment, or 15 or 30 years of employment, which is what you're generally trying to get when playing when working a union job, is that you want to put in your 5, 10, 15 years, get your pension, work there your entire life, and that's kind of the main thing that you're trying to keep at a union job. Unions also try to not have you treated poorly, and they try to not have you underpaid. And so while arguably pay is good compared to a burger flipping job in video game development, it's actually pretty poor. If you're a programmer, you can go and program something else that's not video game related for a lot more, and have more job security, and have more opportunities. So I have to completely disagree with this. I imagine Gamasutra also completely disagrees with this. Like, ESA is a lobbying group, and this is literally just political lobbying. However, one cannot deny that the video game developer industry has failed to create a union and force the issue and make it a big issue, which is kind of crazy. I mean, that the video game development industry has had people that have tried to do several other things, but unionization, really not one of them. Moving on, Gematsu has an article. The Jake Hunter detective story, Prism of Eyes, includes a demo for a new series called Daedalus: The Awakening of Golden Jazz. The new series depicts the childhood memories of Jake Hunter. I don't know who Jake Hunter is, but and I'm not sure this game is actually coming to the West. Let's see. Yeah, so far it says that the Jake Hunter detective story, is The Prism of Eyes, is only coming out for the PS4 and Switch on August 9th in Japan. So if the series decides to move over to the West, it feels like it might be a interesting little visual novel type game with an adult detective character. Let's see. Gamematsu has another article. The Toho project game Yoi Yami Dreamer is coming to the Switch. It's due out in 2018 in Japan. It looks like it's a pretty basic platformer game. So it's not super interesting. But we'll get probably a dozen more responses and mentions of it in between. Let's see. I play this, and then this. PC Gamer has an article, the best Amazon Prime Day PC gaming deals 2018. This is a placeholder, pretty much. Like, there's not a lot that you can get right now. You can get the Amazon Echo Show and the 20% off Amazon Warehouse things before there. The big deal that they're not even talking about is Amazon Prime Day is giving away, doing a lot of giveaways, and those giveaways certainly have some appeal to them. If you actually win, odds are you aren't going to win. The odds are very low that you'll win, but if you do, there's like Gucci bags and watches, things, some fancy jewelry stuff that is selling for like $900, like Apple MacBooks and things, like all kinds of variety of things to get people interested.
A wild miscalculation.
I don't really have a great way to pivot to this, but I am interested in Hotel Transylvania as a movie series, and they made a TV series. And now to expand it even more, they have a Hotel Transylvania 3 Monsters Overboard game on Steam. It's an adventure action RPG game. Interesting. I wouldn't have really thought that you would make an action RPG game. But this, it honestly feels like they've taken characters and just shoved it into a game that already existed. They bought like a cheap Chinese game that already existed. Let's see. What languages is it in? It's in everything practically. Hotel Transylvania 3 Monsters Overboard is $29.99 and it doesn't look good. I may love the first two movies. I haven't seen the third one. I haven't seen the TV series, but I know it's on Netflix. But I don't think my love actually needs to expand into paying a very high premium for this game.
Miscalculation.
The developer of this game also made a Ben 10 game that's positively rated. It's $29.99. I imagine these games are never going to go on sale either. They also made Carmageddon TDR 2000 and Beast Quest. I'm going to wishlist this game. The publisher also published Adventure Time Pirates of the Enchilada. Actually, that hasn't come out yet, I don't believe. It's about to come out. So maybe the publisher is pushing out a bad game. You can see some major tie-ins with kids' movies. Yep. July 17th is the Adventure Time game, and I imagine a lot of people will be hyped to play that, so hopefully it's good.
Nature's blessings upon you.
What to do?
That's what you get for rushing me. The next article has got me scratching my head, and I guess it's really just a matter of ignorance on my part. Gamma Sutra has an article, Levine on Bioshock. Quote, I didn't think I was conscious of how Jewish it was until afterwards. I don't think... So, Ayn Rand...
versus Throw. For Doom for the Frost Wolves.
I think would have certainly been in that time and influenced some of that. I think calling it Jewish is weird because I don't know what that really means. Like, it doesn't mean anything to me other than they're of Jewish descent. But the article is saying that BioShock was reflecting the experiences of post-Holocaust Jews. And I guess maybe, like, in the sense that there was a lot of chaos in Rapture, and there was a lot of disenfranchisement and poverty in Rapture and all that. I really don't get the reference here. And I don't know if this is just Ken Levine yes-anding somebody in an interview who wanted to take it in a certain direction. Like, Ken Levine is saying he has his own culturally Jewish upbringing in New Jersey and New York.
There is little time.
It's like, I really, in my mind, can't think of anything in BioShock that was specifically Jewish. There is a lot of things that Jews, because they're a very old culture, may have done. Ideas, mentalities, thoughts, stuff like that they may have done very early on, so you might attribute it to, but you know, like the way you could take this, and I don't think he meant it this way, is the fact that Rapture was a objectivist capitalist society, and so they were trying to nickel and dime you with every purchase at the vending machines. Like, that's kind of all I can think. And see, I don't think that's what he means. I think he means in some other aspect of the story. And I think this is an example of somebody relating to something a little too much, to the point where they're seeing smoke that's not there or fire that's not there. Like,
let's stash that away.
I will mention again that I don't agree with Ayn Rand's writing. I understand why she wrote it, being from a pre-Soviet Union Russia, and seeing socialism and communism used as an excuse to continue and increase corruption, and then Ayn Rand violently turned to capitalism as the solution to that, and that's just no economic system fixes corruption. Education and law fix corruption, and so she just hit the wrong mark there. But I do think that she has literary merit and value, and she helped influence Ken Levine to help create Rapture. But I really can't go with him on this mental journey. And this is certainly not something he was saying before, so if it's something he was believing before and he couldn't say it because of because he was working for a bigger company and now he isn't, maybe that's the case. There is also a cynical argument you could say here, is that it's become so fashionable to call everybody that doesn't agree with you a Nazi. Maybe at this point Ken Levine in his own head is comparing himself to a, like, Auschwitz Jew who was actually like systematically oppressed, and so he's feeling his own roots because he feels like he's oppressed. I mean, this might literally just be oppression Olympics of an SJW. Like, this is a real weird story, and I don't really even know what to say about it. So I'm gonna move on. And almost certainly, if somebody decides to put anything on the comments about Jews whatsoever, I'll have to flag it for being inappropriate, because everybody's got an opinion on that, and usually it's a bad one. But, let's see, do I want health? A little health could help. Or I could do +1/+1. And then I could take health this way. Which I played out of order there. We have a VR optional game. I wonder if this VR optional badge is a new thing that Steam is also doing, because we've seen early access badges for a game that's called Stifled. It's a sound-based stealth thriller where sound is the only way you see and enemies hear your feet through the microphone input. So you have to play very quietly. I've already seen too many games like this, and it would be rather easy to play this game with your microphones muted. And frankly, the gameplay I'm looking at looks exactly like a different game that came out about a year ago. So I don't know how much variety you can have in these games that are like this. Stifled is 10% off for $17.99, and I think it would be a fun experience because it suffers from dark screenshot syndrome. Like, it's just gonna look bad throughout most of the game. I swear I saw this game a year ago. Maybe it came out as a demo. Yeah, it came out as a demo on November 4th, 2016. What to do? Let's do this.
There is little time.
Come on. There's like one, I'd be willing to play one game like this, and I think I know the game I'd want to play where your character is blind, and I don't think it's this one. See, YouTube, I mean, Steam is recommending a bunch of horror games to me, but not the games I was thinking of. Moving on. PC Gamer has an article. Samsung is mass producing 5th generation 256GB VNAND so that could speed up SSDs. The new memory chips transfer data between the memory and the storage 40% faster than Samsung's previous generation chips, which is good. They've increased the interfaces both for mobile devices and the interface standards for mobile devices and PCs in the past couple of years. So if we can get the SSDs up to snuff and get on-chip hardware raids that will speed up multiple chips from in a way Let's do this. That would be really good. More speed is what we want. We still have a problem, and we haven't fixed that problem about games loading. Although I heard Rage 2 isn't going to have any load screens. That's nice to hear. If it's true. We've got a cheap, very low effort game called Infinity Picross 2.0. There are some Picross games. I imagine there's one good one on Steam. I don't know what it is, however.
Well played.
Let's play a bunch of cards and then win. PC Gamer has an article. Dead Cells is leaving early access on August 7th, so we have a new trailer. There's definitely some weirdness. Hey, I made it up to rank 19. I'm surprised. I wasn't really expecting to do that. Well, I guess at this point, since I've done everything, I either don't break a streak and keep on playing, and I guess that's what I'll do. Or I go and try and challenge a friend on the European account, which will probably never happen. Yeah, I really wonder about Dead Cells when it comes out and it's a finished product. Will there be anybody that is still interested in it, or will everybody just moved on to the next thing? I kind of feel like everybody will have moved on to the next thing. PC Gamer has an article. Dark Souls Remastered gets a facelift with the EV Ultra HD pack. This mod is a continuation of the Firelink Shrine U Unreal Engine 4 remake released in March. So if you've got the graphics card that can handle it, you can have a prettier textures for Dark Souls Remastered, which I imagine some people will be interested in that. Oops, didn't play that right. Let's see. Do I need to read this article? No. Eurogamer has an article. Overlord and Overlord 2 are now backward compatible on Xbox One. I would recommend at least playing Overlord 1. I'm not sure if I've even gotten around to playing Overlord 2. I think I may have gotten burned out with Overlord 1's DLC, or maybe I did play 2 and it just kind of sucked. Either one of those could be the case.
Job's done.
Gamer Stitcher has an article. Amy Hennig on being a creative director, quote, "It takes a level of humility." I think that's agreed. Like, if we want to talk about a female who was not treated well by the video game industry, Amy Hennig is the one to probably point to, because she was hired away to be this creative director on a game. The entire office under her got shuttered, and she was moved into another thing. The game she was working on got basically canceled and replaced with a games of service different thing, and then she left the company and
In the light's
like,
name.
but throughout all of this, you don't have her really complaining or saying anything bad about her former employee, when she probably does have some bad things to say. So I have to applaud. She's right. I guess it's a level of humility that she has taken upon herself, and I hope her success in comparison to people who just rant online and hate people. I mean, people that are just spewing with vile and toxicity. I hate to use the word toxicity because that's a word that people like that use a lot. But hate and vitriol doesn't get you anywhere. Humility and kindness get you somewhere. Sometimes. Sometimes it's just luck, unfortunately. Game of Sutra has an article. How do companies like Nintendo and CD Projekt Red approach crunch? The quote here is, it can be a difficult decision to make, but it's a decision that we wind up making again and again. This is a short Game of Sutra article. CD Projekt Red, we know for a fact, does a lot of crunch. Nintendo, let's see, they don't want to do crunch, but I imagine that there are instances in which they do, depending on the game. There is also a thing where Nintendo of America can claim they're not doing crunch at all, but then most of the games are getting developed by Nintendo of Japan or some other teams that they've hired out, so they can keep their hands clean of it. There's almost certainly crunch being done in Nintendo of Japan's. Moving on, Gematsu has an article. Code Vein is delayed to 2019, so to rub salt into my wounds, I was guessing that 2018 would be the year of the vampire because of Code Vein more than anything else. And let's come over here and challenge a friend if we can. And now that that's been delayed, there's only like one vampire game that is coming out left. The game Vampire, V-A-M-P-Y-R.
Welcome back.
Has already come out, but that's certainly. So I need to challenge a friend. I don't have anybody online. If anybody has a European account, they want to friend me, they want to jump online, now is the time to do it. In the meantime, I'm just gonna pull out a deck I think I can win. Murloc Paladin. Play a little ranked, see if we can get up to rank 20. Code Vein, I believe, is the Dark Souls game that they're trying to polish, and they're doing the right thing, certainly. But, yep, it's delayed. Let's see. YouTube also is rolling out a copyright content ID match tool, basically for creators with over 100,000 subscribers. So expect for all people everywhere to either to get more copyright matches. Let's see. There's a bullet point here going, well, isn't this just content ID? And they go, no, the copyright match tool does use similar matching technology used by content ID, but the copyright match tool is a unique tool designed specifically for YouTube creators who have problems with unauthorized re-uploads. Hopefully, one hopes that the copyright match tool has a 90% confidence match or something like that built in that you can't roll back, because I have certainly seen instances where it seems like if you are even 50% close to a match, it will say it matched. Or in instances we've heard of people uploading white noise and it matching and getting content ID'd, and people uploading still images and it getting content ID'd. So yeah. Re-uploads is a problem, certainly, and I guess this is the only way to solve it, but also content ID abuse is a big problem. They still haven't really done anything to fix that. Let's see. We don't need to talk about Hearthstone's expansion yet. Gamma Sutra has a blog, Retro Games as a Revivalist Movement. That might interest people. this is one of those articles I probably don't need to focus too much on too, though. Let's see. This and this and the train.
Reporting for duty.
Somebody linked to a Business Insider story. YouTube is making moves to nab thousands of new advertisers. But because it's a Business Insider article, they're trying to make me pay to read the article. Forget that. Like, YouTube getting more advertisers at the moment is not even anything I care about because they demonetize me, so it's like screw YouTube and then getting money. Like,
The battle.
kind of that simple. Moving on, PC Gamer has an article. A madman has beaten Fallout New Vegas on max difficult without killing or dying himself at all. So, okay. That's a crazy thing to do, certainly. Apparently he's been streaming it all since March 2017, and it's taken him 19 episodes to get there, so he must be editing a lot, which if he's editing a lot, that's hard to believe at that point that he's not cheating, running some kind of mod or something.
To battle.
Let's see. PC Gamer has an article. Mafia 3 had a cold open that was so controversial that Hangar 13 burned it from our servers. The violent opening explained why Lincoln Clay had joined the army and gone to Vietnam. Let's see. Well, this is kind of a ridiculous article to even write about because Mafia 3 was a huge failure. It's like, okay, it may have had a controversial, may have had a controversial cold open, but nobody saw it, and nobody saw the cold open sequence you left in. It literally does not exist because of, if ever that had come out without any context or any form, it would look terrible because disconnected from the game, it's obviously even more shocking. So deleting things in a business and claiming you've deleted things can come back to bite you in the butt if there's ever a lawsuit. And that's why you have to have backups. And while this person being interviewed says it was scrubbed from the servers, I don't think it really was. All they're saying is there was a really violent prologue in which Clay kills a cop while escaping a mob ambush. Let's see. The problem is that it was added late in the game, so it felt exploitative rather than an integral part.
Give me a quest.
See, this really seems like this is just a way to push the game, but it's already too late for that because Hangar 13 has already suffered major layoffs earlier this year, and Hangar 13 was the maker of Mafia 3.
To battle.
So yeah. I don't know if this is just the... I don't know. Yeah, I don't even know. I think Mafia 3 kind of suffered for telling a story that didn't really relate to the Mafia series. Not that the Mafia series was particularly sacrosanct, but it was just telling a different story that didn't really connect to the gameplay mechanics that were in the game, I think. I just don't think the game is that good. Moving on, Gamma Sutra has an article. ESPN, Disney XD, and Blizzard, the Activision Blizzard, have pinned a deal to bring Overwatch matches to primetime TV. So, maybe a little too late at this point. I think Fortnite would be better to put on primetime TV, but yeah, instead of your kid watching TV and cartoons or Disney tweenage shows, now they're just going to be straight up watching Overwatch matches. Which, I mean, why not have them play Overwatch at that point themselves?
Reporting for duty.
But apparently that's going to be a thing. Let's see. The only details planned are the concluding matches of the 2017-2018 season, starting with playoff coverages today and expanding to quarter and semi-final matches until the end of July. So it's like a short-term experiment more than anything. Let's see. A new otome visual novel is due out this fall called London Detective Mysteria. It has an opening movie. Let's see. It's rated M17+. Let's see. Can we do this?
For justice. To battle.
Didn't play that right. Let's see, it seems like it's a visual novel romance game with a mystery, a Sherlockian type mystery behind it too. It's about half anime guys and half anime girls. It's a pretty good spread that you usually don't get in visual novels. Seems like it's going to come out for PC and PS Vita according to the tags. PS Vita via the PlayStation Store and PC this fall. Nothing amazingly interesting about London Detective Mysteria, just another game. I already talked about Code Vein. Let's see, we already talked about Shining Resonance Refrain, which is by far the #1 game. If somebody wanted to gift me a game that came out today or in the past couple days, that would be the one to cover. Well, it's brand new. Of course, that would be quite the commitment. I haven't managed to get back to Borderlands 2, and that's a slight problem also. I started Borderlands 2 and then realized I needed to do other things. I already talked about that game. Let's see. Gamatsu has an article. Job listings suggest an unannounced PS4 PC MMORPG, PS4 and arcade robot action game, PS4 strategy RPG, and multiplayer platformer 3D action game. And these are from several Japanese companies. Which is not really saying much. This is a weird way to merge what could have easily been 5 different articles that Gamatsu would love to have done instead, I'm sure. Let's see. Continue to add random people until somebody accepts a friend request and actually stays on long enough for me to play them. We're almost done, and we're already over an hour. There's a game on Steam called Ace Speeder 3. It looks awful. Like, it looks like a Nintendo 64 F-Zero clone. Alright, we got an acceptance here, there. accept and get your 80 gold. $2.99. We'll just play what? Demon? Whatever. For this game, Ace Speeder Thief, there's nothing there that would suggest it's a good game. Gamatsu has an article, Sausage Sports Club launches July 19th.
I must protect the
Compete in a reality sports
soul shall
TV
be
show,
mine.
apparently. It looks like it's another one of these 4-player fight each other type games. At least this one looks pretty good. Most of the ones I've seen have been just completely poorly animated and half thoughts and 2D animation, where this is 3D animation and looks better because of that. But this is still the same game. It has like really no single player, and I have really no reason why I'd want to play it.
The boss of me.
So yeah, I have no interest in Sausage Sports Club. We have a game called Remydry, R-E-M-Y-A-D-R-Y. Says it's an RPG, JRPG, anime, female protagonist. It's very popular, 94% of 77 users. Came out July 9th. And how much is it? 10% off for $8.99. Again, I think somebody has made a JRPG engine of something. Because I'm seeing a lot of menus and interfaces that look like they are been reused. Seems like there's kind of a dungeon crawling aspect to this game and a shop aspect to buy items. And yeah, once you get in the dungeon though, it looks like an RPG Maker type game. Just a lot of stuff on the screen too. Yeah, I frankly couldn't care if this was 100% rated. It's just not the games I want to play. Alright. If we do that, what if we do this, and this, and then do that? Let's see. Do we need to talk about this again?
It's time for a
Not
little
really.
Shields up.
There is questions certainly about, as YouTube tries to deal with breaking news and controversial topics or things that they believe are being false information, getting false information is spoken about. Like, how much of this is just going to be straight up censorship, and how much of this is going to be that small YouTubers can't talk about those topics, but big YouTubers, YouTube channels like CNN, can talk about those topics. Because that's what it's been so far. It's been a system where if something's happening in a small or medium, even people with 1 million subscribers talk about a breaking news thing, they get demonetized and they get not promoted, whereas CNN is talking about the exact same thing, and they're promoted and allowed to say whatever they want. And so there's a lack of freedom and lack of democracy, I suppose, in the available news sources. And we certainly need more varied news sources in the United States particularly. Everything is kind of just owned by by major corporations, and very few. It's like 3 or 4 major corporations own all the news stations and all the TV stations. Alright, I'm on the Humble Bundle, and there's no game bundle. There is a Chuck Tingle bundle, which are these ridiculous ebooks that get read, and people will like them. I don't know. I think it's an overhyped joke that I can see you do one, but you don't then constantly continue down that path. And yeah, how many books are they selling? Like, geez, it's like 30 ebooks, but no real game humble bundles. So we'll switch over to Twitch while we're playing here. Observer is free for Prime. All these games I'm getting for free on Prime. There's a decent collection of games. I really should be. I should be playing them. Destroy a friendly minion to adapt twice.
I will enjoy watching you die.
Let's draw. Do this. So I was supposed to discard 2 cards, but I only discarded 1, so I only get 1 back. Right, and so that means in this late hour of nearly 10 o'clock, we're pretty much done with the news. There's a new game that was just released on Steam called Dead or School, which looks like an anime sex game. Fighting game. Let's see. TechRaptor has an article. Steam announces an overhaul of an upcoming releases tab with popular upcoming, which is probably a full admins that they're gonna get rid of or make it even more difficult for people to be seen as a small-time developer. Let's see. The game came out, Diary of Defender. We'll talk about these games on Friday? Not Sunday. Hopefully not Sunday. Super Neptunia RPG opening movie on Gematsu. Let's see. Ninja is over 15 million subscriptions on YouTube, and YouTube Creators is saying something nice to him, which I don't know. You're picking and choosing your winners. You're gonna eventually regret that. See, if I played this in between the two, I'd recruit a couple of demons.
Job done.
Aw, man, 2 more mana, I would have won. Let's see, Octopath Traveler has some more details on Gematsu. I don't really need to look at that article. Black Cover Fantasy Knights has a debut trailer. I'll look at that because I kind of want to know what kind of game that is. July 12th is the 25th anniversary of Nippon Ichi Software, Japan One Software, if you translate that to English. Genatsu. So they're a big thing. There's a low effort, basically extremely low effort game called Battle Royale Builder. The game Rind, a 60-player fantasy survival game, will enter early access at the end of this month. Let's see. There's a game called Bug Splat. We'll talk about all these later. It seems unlikely on this Wednesday that something horrifically important on the news will have happened. And so I think we're in a great place to wrap up. We are only about 16 minutes past an hour, and we got 3 recordings. Everything worked, despite the fact that I totally screwed up and overslept and started really late. So that's that. That's it for this recording. As always, I ask you to like, share, subscribe, comment, and watch every second of my videos. If you want to friend or follow me on any social media sites, there's a whole bunch of links down below in the description box. And if you want to support me, friend me on Steam and gift me a game. It'd be really nice if somebody gifted me Darksiders 3, the deluxe edition with the season pass. Thank you for watching. Have a good evening.